Hey folks, welcome to Hayden Be Grilling. Now the fall weather is finally upon us. We got some good cool weather. Windows are opened up. So we're gonna do some good old fried potatoes. Now if you grew up in the South, like me and my wife did, this was a staple of your childhood. And if you didn't grow up in the South, if y'all had something similar to this, let me know. But let's get started with this. All right, folks. So we got everything diced up, sliced up, cut up. So what I'm gonna do now is take some olive oil. Now I'm not going with a set amount. I just wanna go with enough to kind of coat the bottom of my skillet here. Then we're gonna set our burner to a medium heat. All right, now I know I said in the intro this is fried potatoes, but there's a whole lot goes in some good old Southern fried potatoes. First we're gonna take, I like using the beef sausage for this, 12 ounces worth. For this meal here, for whatever reason, the beef just tastes better. But we're gonna get that in our skillet. We're gonna let that start to cook up and brown. All right, now at this point, we're gonna add, in this bowl here, I took half an onion, diced it up, and I got 3 of them old russet potatoes, and I cut them up. So we're gonna add this into our skillet. Still running on that medium heat, but we're just gonna start stirring these around, kind of working them in. Now it is important to continue stirring this around, not continuously, but pretty frequently, to prevent those potatoes from scorching to the bottom. Now that we got our potatoes in here, we're gonna come in with 3 simple ingredients, seasonings. We're gonna come in with some salt, no measurement, just to your preference. Come in with some black pepper. Now my next seasoning, a little bit of Cajun seasoning. You use whatever kind you want. I'm going with some good old Slappy Mama, or as Bennett calls it, Slap Joe Mama. Not sure where she gets that from, but once we got our seasonings in here, just give it all a good stir. Now at this point, we want to cook these potatoes down, but we don't want them completely cooked yet. I've also got 2 squash that I've cut up, but you don't want to throw the squash in there at the same time because they'll basically render down to nothing while you're waiting on your potatoes to cook. So we're gonna let these potatoes start to soften up, and then we're gonna add our squash. All right, so our potatoes started to soften up. So now, like I said, I took 2 squash and I cut them up. We're gonna add those into the skillet. Give it all a good stirring and good mixing. And now we're just waiting on our vegetables to break down and soften up. All right, folks, so we are done. If you're not familiar with squash, see how that squash is kind of coming apart? That's kind of a tall tale sign right there that your squash is done. But I did kind of poke through some of the thicker pieces. We are all done. Now we're gonna remove it from the heat with that all-important taste test. All right, folks, here we go with that all-important taste test. Some good old fried potatoes and more. All right, folks, that's incredible. Every time I make this, it's always very good. And it's filling. You got potatoes, squash, onion, and the sausage in there. And every time I eat this, it takes me back to my childhood, growing up eating fried potatoes just like this. So y'all please give us a try. And like I said, I know I've made this before here on the channel, but it is getting cooler. And maybe you haven't checked out the channel yet before. If not, welcome. But y'all please give us a try. Let me know what you think. Please like, subscribe, and we'll see y'all later.